Hello, arcade gamers, and welcome back to Biggie D's Arcade. Today, we're going to be doing my 26th Chill and Chat live stream tonight. I'm going to be using a different piece of software for this live stream. I'm using what's called Restream. It allows me to bring in guests and have live shows with a panel of guests. So this is my first time actually using this software. It's all new to me, all foreign to me. I was playing around with it a little bit last night, but still completely new. So if I mess up on anything, I do anything a little different tonight, that's why, because I'm using this Restream software. And I have a guest tonight. We have PD7. So if you guys have not checked out his channel yet, he's got a very great Arcade1up related channel where he does mostly walk and talks, where he'll walk around, going to different stores and looking at toys, electronics, home arcade products, and giving insight on what he feels is happening in the home arcade community. So I'm really excited about having him on the show tonight. I think he's got a lot of really good information to share, and I think we can get some really good discussion going with him. So let's go ahead and bring Phil on. Hey, Phil, how's it going?
Hey, good. Thank you for having me on the show, Biggie.
Yep, so you'll be my very first guest on Biggie D's Arcade. And I was thinking about, who should I bring on for my first guest? And you have always came to mind for me because you've always kept your channel really positive. You've sunk in a lot of dedication and time into it. It seems like you're always coming out with new videos. These walk and talks, it looks like you spend quite a bit of time traveling around your area there in Wisconsin, showing us all these various stores and all these products. And it's something that keeps me really engaged and something I wanted to bring into my channel and have you as my first guest. So go ahead and introduce yourself. Let everyone know about your channel and who you are.
Thanks, Biggie. I'm PD7. I started off doing a little bit of gaming, just showing off some of the Arcade1ups I had maybe 7-8 months ago. Then some reviews and what I thought on some of the arcades. And Black Friday came around, and I wanted to see how it compares now going to a store versus just shopping online. Had a pretty good feeling that most deals we find nowadays are going to be online. But I stopped at Best Buy and I stopped at Walmart, and I went to a second Best Buy to wrap up the show because the Walmart didn't have much, not any Arcade1ups I was looking for. And it felt really fun to do this, and just kind of a vlogging on going somewhere. And I said, you know what, I'll try these walk and talks. And I started off stopping at some malls. I like to go to Target a lot, but Best Buy being the official retailer for the Arcade1up Deluxe, you can go to any Best Buy and find an Arcade1up. You can go to any Walmart and it's hit or miss on Arcade1ups. They're becoming to be hard to find, Biggie.
Yeah.
Not seeing them a lot. And it's just funny how the sales work. You look at a site like Target and a site like Kohl's, they're never running any of these sales that you'll see on Walmart, Arcade1up Direct, or Best Buy. They'll throw that Kohl's cash at you, but that's not always the best deal. The way I look at it, I don't want to pay $500. I know you're giving me $200 back. I want to get that cabinet for half off, and I know you do too.
Yeah, I'm always searching for the deals. When I first started my channel, that's what it was solely focused on, was Arcade1up deals. And it really took off early on. And I noticed you as well were very focused on that. And your channel took off really quickly from that as well. And as my channel has grown, it's something that's always in the back of my head. And it's something I'm always thinking about, is I got to continue with that. No matter how large our channels get, people want to see the deals. They benefit from it. So the more I focus on it, I think the better success I'll have as a channel. And I wanted to kind of hear your thought on that.
Well, and reviewing something brand new is going to help out too, obviously. But you're going to see a lot more videos from me personally. Not so much seeing arcades behind me, but I just want to be out in the elements. I want to just go somewhere and show off something, and still come back to the home arcade, but keep it in our collectible, perspective, if you will. That it all comes together, and that's what gets me excited to relive those years from the 80s, from the 90s, bring that nostalgia back. I did a video recently on I think the foot covers, pedal covers for the Fast and Furious cabinet, and it just felt so weird to be in there doing a video. I just wanted to get out and just kind of do like a vlogging video.
I know what you mean by that. A lot of times I get into my creation mode where I'm making reviews or I'm making videos or I'm even preparing for the live stream. A lot of preparation goes into these live streams when I'm doing them solo because I'm a very visual person. And I spend a lot of time inside when I'm doing that. And it's not necessarily what I enjoy. I enjoy being outside. But then you have all these other elements you have to deal with too. You have the people, you have the noise. Like today, my mic was messing up on my walk and talk because of the wind. And, so there's all these other factors you have to think about as well when you're outside. Yeah, you're having fun, but you've got all these other things you got to worry about as well.
Yeah, that wind can be brutal, especially in Phoenix. I mean, it's, you're in the valley right there. It can be, it just.
Yeah, when it's windy, it's very windy. And today it was cracking up my mic, and I thought maybe my mic was going out. But then when I was inside, everything sounded fine. So I knew it was the wind. I probably just need to get a better mic for that, outside use.
No. It works. It works fine. I went for a vlogging type camera because the phone I was using was my old iPhone, and it just, it's an iPhone 10, and you're not going to get the best picture quality with this. And, the microphone was kind of hit or miss, and I just wanted to invest in if I'm going to do this, a vlogging camera, and I don't even need to wear a microphone. If the camera's close to me, it will pick up everything I'm saying. It will pick up everything around me. Mm-hmm. But if we're doing a show right now and I have that camera further back, you'll hardly hear what I'm saying. But yeah, I seem to be pretty happy with it so far.
Good. Okay. So I want to stay on Arcade1up when we start the show. So for the first probably 30 minutes or so, I want to dedicate to Arcade1up. And we got into, where we can find these Arcade1ups. We can find them at Walmart. We can find them at Best Buy. You were mentioning Walmarts are hit or miss. Like around me, there may be 8 or so Walmarts in my area. But only 1 or maybe 2 of those Walmarts actually have Arcade1up. Now, Best Buy, I still get that same problem. I may go into a Best Buy by me and they don't have Arcade1up at all. But I think there's more Best Buys that have them that don't, as opposed to Walmart where you have most of your Walmarts don't have them. So what's your shopping experience been like with these stores?
With Best Buy, it seems like every Best Buy I go to will have something of Arcade1up, even if it's just one NFL Blitz. But you're not seeing those Deluxe on display at all of them. I would say that 4 out of 6 Best Buys are going to have a Deluxe or 2 set up. But you'll find something at every Best Buy. Now, the Walmarts, same with you. There's 2 Walmarts in my area that carry Arcade1ups, and I keep going further and further out, and I'm just surprised that I'm not coming across any. But when I saw one of those old risers at Walmart, and I went back today, it's still there. It's like, where are they coming up with this? Where is it coming from?
Yeah, so they got to make those risers because their business model is they want to sell to those people that just walk in and they just buy it because they see it. Well, people aren't going to do that if it's $600. But if it's $200 or it's $300, then it's possible. Someone may pull the trigger and buy something like that, just spur of the moment. And that's what they're targeting, is that type of person. So in order to do that and to get those prices down below that $300 mark, they have to sell the riser separately. And they can't do a bundle deal with the riser because that would put them over $300. So that you're going to continue to see that. And even with these Deluxe cabinets where they're going with the riserless cabinet design, you're still going to see at Walmart the riserless or the no riser package deal like Yoga Flame and Miss Pac-Man and Pac-Man. Those are sold without a riser. You'll continue to see that.
MK30th too. I just saw that today. I'm shocked that it's $379 for this. Like that's insane. I can see $199. But $379, you can go to Shop Hippo right now and get a Yoga Flame or a Shinku Hadouken for $399.
Yeah. And so the $379 price around here at least is $299 right now. So any Walmart that has those $379 cabinets are $299 in this area. But just about a month ago, they were $379. Yeah, so it changes. And you guys probably in Wisconsin will see that $299 price here soon because it's pretty common.
I think we're going to see $299 on the Yoga Flame, but the actual, like, getting closer to July, mid-July, when we see those Black Friday sales, Black Friday in July, I'm gonna see a lot of $2.99 cabinets.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Now,
something to hold out for.
this Miss Pac-Man here was $2.99, and I was actually able to talk the manager into selling it to me for $1.99. So there is some, the managers at these Walmarts do have some leeway on changing those prices and adjusting those prices based on their inventory. So if they have a whole lot that they have to sell in a particular amount of time, they don't have a lot of room for these, they can sell them at whatever price they want. So that's a good place to shop, is Walmart, because you can potentially walk in, talk to the right manager, and get a really good deal.
Yeah.
Now, you had also... Go ahead.
You've had success on some of the cabinets you've picked up, for sure. I mean, what did you
absolutely. I'm a big-time Walmart shopper. So my final fight, that one I had purchased for $75, Walmart. This Miss Pac-Man I'd purchased for $1.99 at Walmart. Marvel Superheroes I purchased for $1.99 at Walmart. And keep in mind, this was in 2019, 2020. And then the Miss Pac-Man's the most recent one I got a deal on at Walmart, and that was last year in 22. So, it continues. And if you go back and watch my walk and talk number 3, I actually was negotiating with a manager in that video to try to see if he could lower the prices on his. I unfortunately wasn't able to get him to do it. So, but it was funny because I talked to one of the, it was like the director or the electronics, I guess you could call sales manager or whatever. And he couldn't understand why the general manager wouldn't lower the prices that day, because he said those have been sitting on the shelf for months. They're collecting dust. He's like, I don't understand why he won't sell these to you for a discount. They're just sitting here. And that was the guy who got the general manager involved to try to get me a better price. So he was pushing for me to get those out of the store. And I haven't made my way back up there to see if he'll do it now.
So what happened with The Simpsons? When you bought The Simpsons, didn't you get a great deal on that, and you ended up returning it?
Yeah, so I got Simpsons at $1.99, and there was a hole in the box. Okay. And I was kind of just looking for excuses to not buy this because I didn't have the room. I was still in my smaller apartment, and that Simpsons just takes up a lot of room. It's got that big 4-player game deck. And so I was looking for reasons why I didn't want it. So when I got to the store to pick it up and there was a hole in the box, I was like, all right, well, that's my reason. So I took it back up to the customer service desk and got my money back.
Yeah,
and I'm just not real huge on that color of Simpsons. I know it is authentic to the original arcade, but just trying to picture that in my home, it just wasn't going to fit. Now, I know with your place, you have like multiple rooms, you have a house, so you can put your arcades away from the living room or you can put them away from the dining room to where the colors aren't going to be that big of a deal. In my place, it's all kind of one big room, so colors really stand out for me. So I try to keep them all black or as black as I can. And that's why I was happy to get rid of my NBA Jam and get KI, is because it's got that really sleek black look. And so I'm keeping that with most of my arcades now.
But there is one NBA Jam that does have a black look.
NBA Jam?
The Shack Jam does have, when you're looking at it, the whole front of it is black.
Oh, yeah.
So that would look good behind you, right behind you.
Yeah, so I am interested in NBA Jam, and that's what I wanted to get into next, where, these other cabinets that we may or may not own, but we're just talking deals. Which ones are on sale right now? Which ones do we think are going to be on sale here in the near future? And let's kind of get into some of that talk. So I've got some slides pulled up here. So let's talk NBA Jam first. So we'll talk this one first, and I'll just kind of give you my opinion on it, what I think about it. So I'm coming from my smaller NBA Jam, the one that's behind you, and I really liked it. I'm a huge NBA fan, and I love playing the games, but the cabinet, as my other cabinets started coming in, like I got my At Games Legends Ultimate, I got my Attack from Mars Pinball, and most recently got my Killer Instinct. All these cabinets are larger than these 3/4 scale, smaller ones that they were starting out with that I have previously. And it just, over time, they just start to look smaller and smaller each day. And I would walk up to my NBA Jam, and it was just so tiny to me. And knowing that this one's out there, knowing there's other options, it just made me want to pull the trigger on selling the smaller one and then putting myself into the market to buy this NBA Jam XL. I had saw that price for $399 last week, and it had me tempted. Even though I really don't have the room right now, I really shouldn't be spending the money. But $399 is a killer deal on what I wanted, which was a bigger cabinet. So I didn't buy it, but I am interested in it, and I think I will get it at like $299, maybe $315. It seems like Best Buy likes to do $315 for whatever reason. I'm not quite sure why they picked that price. They don't want to go all the way down to $300, but they do. But I may pull the trigger at $315. This one I do see in my future, and I'm really interested in seeing what 19K Fox does with his. I know he had just purchased one as well, and he's got some mods coming up on his, and I'm interested to see what he does. I think he's going to probably upgrade the screen, giving us a BOE 19-inch screen. I think that's what he wants. That's what I'm going to want. He also looks like he's going to add some additional lighting behind the marquee. He says they're still using the same LED light they use on the smaller marquees on this bigger one. So he thinks it's going to be lower light, and he's upgrading that already. Now, what else he's going to add, I'm not quite sure. I would think probably a coin door, too. This one's missing the coin door. So he said he's adding like 3 or 4 mods before he puts it all together, and I think that's what it is. A coin door, upgrading the screen, and then we already know from his short that he's adding some more lighting behind the marquee. But what do you think about this cabinet?
Well, first of all, just if you're going to put a coin door in, if you just look underneath that NBA Jam logo, so you're probably going to put it right where Shaq's, right where that basketball is. I mean, you just got to picture that. Like, is that okay for people? And the only thing I can compare that to is the class of 81, where the artwork's split and that coin door is right dead in the center.
Yeah, that's a good spot for it. Now, with those as well, you can flip that board, and hopefully it's a black color on the other side.
You can flip it, but you're losing that NBA Jam logo. I mean, I thought about this, and that's when I went with the OG NBA Jam. You just keep staring at it going, you really like that logo. Like that's huge. I think maybe you can live with the coin door kind of taken away from that basketball falling through the net, but $399 looking at this price, what was that, 4 days ago? It's so much better than just looking at it now at $699. It's a hard one to pass, especially for me. I actually made a point of saying, if this is $399, I'll buy it. But going to Best Buy as much as I do, seeing Golden Tee for $315.99, I know that Arcade took advantage of that sale. He purchased it. Now you see Terminator 2 at $315.99. Along with that ticket system, you're going to see Shaq Jam there. And that's my prediction, and I keep saying it, that they're going to come out with a better sale on this. And when that hits, that's your time to pull the trigger.
So that $315 price that you're speaking of, you think that's going to be a ticket sell, not on the website, where you actually have to go into the store and just get lucky?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you're not going to see Terminator 2 is, if you looked it up right now, it's $699 online. There it is.
$699. Yeah. So, but I was at Best Buy, and if you guys watch my walk and talk today, you'll see it was $315 at my local Best Buy. However, there were no tickets. So I wouldn't think I would get it at $315, would I?
Well, but did the barcode say $315.99? I mean, you saw that.
Yep. I mean, it did. There were no tickets. They
don't have any. They're gonna, they'll abide by that. They'll scan that barcode, and it'll be a store pickup.
Oh, okay. So I could walk back up to Best Buy tonight, get it for $315, even though there's no tickets. I just got to let someone know, and I can buy it at that price.
Yeah, because they're still in stock. I mean, we're seeing it right now. $699.
Now, this one we've seen really low. I mean, we've seen this one, I think, as low as $200. There was a Dell deal they were doing at one point. It was like $300, but you got like $100 or $150 Dell gift card. Do you remember that?
I just remember P-dubs got Tron at Dell for like $449. I mean, it was just an incredible deal. And it's like Dell sells Arcade1ups. I don't remember seeing T2 on Dell, but
Yeah.
I think we're gonna see T2 down the road for $199. And if you're on the fence, hold out. They're obviously not selling them out at $315.99. They're gonna drop to $199. Buck Hunter, your prediction is gonna be the next shooting cabinet. Once that hits, I mean, they're gonna drop the price even more, and you're not gonna see T2 anywhere.
Yeah. Now, this is one I would like to have. My only holdback on this is the only one game. I've got an apartment. I don't have a ton of room to work with. I've got to be really selective with my cabinets. And unless I'm modding this, I probably won't be in the market for it, unfortunately. Not until I get more room. Just one game. It's not enough.
It's a shame we can't play online. Like, let's say you had it, I had it. We can play at the same time. It's too bad. I mean, you'd think that any Arcade1up they make, I know it's kind of asking a lot. Even with Fast and Furious, we should be able to play each other. Like that should be like their number one thing. Like we want online play.
Now, this is a good question here I saw by Lethal Wolf. He said, have you guys heard about what happened to Time Crisis? So Time Crisis is a leak. We've seen the cabinet design. I think they're reworking that cabinet design, perfecting it, making it more attractive to us, because we kind of bashed it when we saw it, making it saying it looked like a banana. But I do think Time Crisis is, they have the license. They're already heavily involved in trying to make it and put it out there. So I think we're still going to get it there this year. And November is my predicted date that we'll get Time Crisis. Hopefully we get a leak here soon so we can see what it looks like, or some type of preview from Arcade1up. But yeah, I definitely think we're still getting Time Crisis in 2023. This is going to be a holiday release towards the end of the year. And that's a good question too. And the reason I wanted to bring it up is that's another reason why I'm not in the market for T2. I want a shooter, but I know Time Crisis is coming. So I don't want to go all in on T2 yet.
Now, 19K Fox did make a valid point about Time Crisis. If they're linkable, do you think there'd actually be a red one and a blue one? Like you could decide what color you want?
So you're repeat that question again.
So if they make a linkable Time Crisis, like we see with Fast and Furious, do you think that it's possible that they'll actually sell a red Time Crisis and a blue Time Crisis separately? Like you'll be able to pick your color.
Yeah, I mean, that would be pretty cool. They originally went with Time Crisis 1, but we know Time Crisis 2 will be on there because it had 2 guns. So I think that's a great theory. They've never done that before, where you have 2 different cabinet artwork like that. Actually, Street Fighter. So we had the Street Fighter Yoga Flame, and then we had the Street Fighter Shinku Hadouken. So we have had 2 variations of the same cabinet. So that's quite possible and a good theory.
Really cool. I like the Time Crisis 2 theme over Time Crisis 1.
Yeah, and you had mentioned to me earlier, you played Time Crisis 2 today, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I had a lot of fun. It's a great arcade.
Yeah, a lot of fun. I think they could easily do Time Crisis 1 and 2. You start getting into 3, 4, those games, that's going to be hard to do. But yeah, all that's coming very soon. This is stuff we're going to be talking about here over the coming months, because Time Crisis is very close. And this is a good comment here. Lethal Wolf, he's talking about how Time Crisis is much better than T2. I agree 100%. Much more better game, I think, than of the 2.
I think it's, you look at T2, it's the nostalgia. I bought it because, Schwarzenegger's all over the thing. It's just like a centerpiece in your arcade room. Not something that I necessarily will play a lot. I put the topper on. I put the Midway decals all over it. It's just kind of like in the background, something cool to see. That's what you're getting with it.
You're paying for the look. To have Arnold in your game
that are impossible.
So let's get into some of these other cabinets. So some of these you own. Mortal Kombat 2 Deluxe was recently released. You bought it pretty much day one. You had the first review out there on it. It has how many views? Like 12,000 views or something like that?
Yeah, I mean it's done pretty good.
Yeah, it's a lot of interest in this cabinet, and I got to see it firsthand today for the first time, and I was very impressed. I like how tall it is, even though the marquee looks a little small. It's a solid marquee. It's not washed out. Looks pretty good. I do like the speaker grills. How they added those the speaker grill covers. I think that looks really good. And then the slanted game deck, that's my first time actually putting hands on that slanted game deck. I do like that design. And then they had it raised up a little bit because it was on a shelf.
Oh, yeah.
So it was raised up about 6 to 8 inches. So it was perfect height for me. And I loaded it up. I started playing it, and it's a pretty cool cabinet. I'm seeing why there's a lot of interest behind this one. It's a very well-designed cabinet. The games play good. And now they have that input lag fix. So I think it's looking even better now.
Yeah, Mike Worley and I just played this on Arcade Talk and Reviews, and the games played really. The fighting games played really good. There was something going on my end when we were playing Joust. Like I didn't have like full speed yet, but you know I'm not hardwired. It's Wi-Fi hooked up, but I haven't seen anything to like raise your eyebrows on. I think they did a pretty good job with that last update.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I've been hearing it's night and day. Like now it's like Mortal Kombat we remember, and it plays the way we remember it. So this is one that's on my radar. I'm definitely going to be interested in this one if the right price comes around. We're currently getting $50 off, so we're at $449.99. It's nice to get some savings. That's not really that much though, but being that the cabinet just came out, I guess you got to be happy with something off.
Hey, it's a good price, and I don't think you're going to see a $399 on any of these Deluxe until closer to Christmas. They're going to hold on to these, and we're going to see discounts on everything else.
Yeah, so these you're thinking later this year. You think like Black Friday?
Yeah, around that time frame. It's like you look at stuff like Golden Axe, like what talking about collecting dust. Like how long are they going to sit on this stuff? That last sale was very tempting. I want to say it was $349. Tell me if I'm wrong, but the fact that those are still in stock, you got to just wonder how many of these are coming down to $299 while leaving up the Deluxe. You got Mortal Kombat 2, you got Class of 81, Pac-Man, Fast and Furious, and the potential Big Buck Hunter along with that Casino-cade are all labeled as Deluxe.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's
all Deluxe.
Those are going to be your best buy, like your lineup here. When we go to a store and we look at that ticket system, those are going to be everything there, along with those Infinity game boards.
Mm-hmm. And then 2 other cabinets that they have that are on discount are going to be the Pac-Man Deluxe and the Class of 81. Now, you have the Class of 81, and what would you say about it? Just a quick take on it.
I think it's great to have that variety. It plays really good. It is so loud. Like it is volume 1 in there. The way it's like recessed back in there, it's just like the sound is so loud. You can hear volume 1 downstairs in the living room.
Oh,
it's
really?
It's a great cabinet though. It just pops like that Ms. Pac-Man side, that blue. It just stands out. And for a little while, I had that at the end of my row before I got Fast and Furious.
Mm-hmm.
And Fast and Furious is kind of taken away from that, but it was something cool to look in. When you walk into the room, I'm really happy with this. I mean, I'm more of a beat 'em up guy, but it's good to have a cabinet like this in your game room just for when you want to play something different.
Yeah, I mean, I can never get tired of Pac-Man. I can always, at any moment, just be wanting to play Pac-Man. And it's not any time that I felt like I wasted my time. I always have a really good time when I play it. And it's like a must-own. I feel like every game room should have at least one Pac-Man, whether it be Miss Pac-Man or Pac-Man, have one or the other, or both. Yeah. And, I was looking at these today. It was my first time actually getting to see one up close. And I saw this one. This is the one they had on display, Pac-Man Deluxe. And I was really impressed with how tall it is, how big it is, how much, bigger it looks with this design. But also how it has that slanted screen and what you were talking about, how it's all down in there. And it actually gives you like more of like a real arcade cabinet feel. And just the way that screen is slanted too. Like I'll play Miss Pac-Man on this one and I have a really good time. but I could see myself having a much better time with this one, with this slanted screen. It's just, I feel like how it was meant to be played.
And you know what the crazy thing is when you're putting it together, the control panel is connected to that monitor, so that's all one piece.
Okay.
It was very interesting putting Class 81 together and dropping those wires that are hooked up to the marquee and the speakers. There's a spot where you could actually block it off, so you have to make sure that it's over a certain point, or I had to take it apart. I couldn't plug it into the PCB.
Yeah, that's interesting how you put this one together. It's so different from all the other cabinet designs they have. And unfortunately, I didn't get to hear the speakers. You were talking about how good the speakers are on these, and the volume didn't work on the display that I saw today. So I wonder if they blew those out by playing it too loud, or maybe they turned the volume off because unplugged the speakers because of how loud they were.
I wonder the same thing at my home. I call it the home Best Buy. The marquee is not lit up on the Mortal Kombat 2 Deluxe. Did they not plug it in, or is there something defective with it? Like, I want to bring a screwdriver with me whenever I go to Best Buy. It's just driving me nuts. Like, this is a display unit. You know, you're selling a product. You want to make it look as good as you can.
Yeah, you would think they would make sure everything's done and nothing's missed, because this is like what everyone's seeing first thing when they go to buy it or they're looking at it.
Yeah, the interesting thing, sorry to cut you off, you're not going to see a Class 81 on display. It's only going to be Pac-Man or Mortal Kombat 2.
Okay.
That's a weird one.
So you will not see Class of 81 on display anywhere at Best Buy. No.
And I forgot who I heard that from, but, you know, I mean, I've gone to so many Best Buys that's the case in Wisconsin. You'll see them. You can buy them. They're stocked in the store, but you're just not going to see that display. Okay.
Interesting. And, but yeah, I'm very impressed. This is another cabinet that I'm be very interested in at the right price. You know, probably a year or two from now when we're seeing these for $200-300 is when I'm going to be in the market to buy one. But I will spend that $200 to $300 to upgrade. And what I've realized too is I'm not necessarily paying that amount of money when I buy a new one either, because I can sell my old one. So like for instance, when I bought KI, I bought it for $150, but I sold NBA Jam for $150. So I didn't actually pay anything to upgrade. Yeah. So I want to kind of do that with this too. I want to find the right price on either Pac-Man or Class of 81. And then I want to sell my other one, my older, for around the same price. That way I'm not spending any extra money and I'm getting a much better cabinet. And, you know, if you're following the deals and you're watching the deals, you can benefit from stuff like that. You know, where if you're just going out and you're paying full price, you're always going to be upside down. You're always going to be, you know, paying money out of your pocket to upgrade.
Oh,
but if you play it right, you get the right deal on the new one, you can make it all work. You don't have to pay anything.
Hey, whoever you sold that NBA Jam to got an amazing deal, by the way.
Oh, absolutely.
Great price.
I told him that too. I was like, you know, $150, I could easily sell this for $300. But I wanted him to get a good deal. I wanted him to expand his arcade and get into this like how I'm into it. And have a friend, you know, that I work with that I can talk about it with. But next I want to get into Fast and the Furious. So this cabinet was just released. Again, this is one of the cabinets you had first. You put a review out there. I don't think you beat She-Lion to the punch on the review, but you were right behind her.
I was about the 22nd person to put a review out on Fast and Furious. There was a lot of reviews, and it was hard for me not to watch any of them. I didn't want to take anything from anyone else's review, so I stayed away from them until I got mine. I put it together. I did a review, and then I watched everybody else's, and there was a lot of good reviews on this. Anyone interested in this cabinet has so many videos to watch. I mean, you'll know everything there is to know about Fast and Furious.
Yeah, there's a lot of reviews out there. A lot of people purchased this cabinet, it seems like. Very popular, recognizable name.
People bought two of them.
Yeah, many people bought two. Now, what it was missing is it was missing the online, but it had the linkable cabinets. So it kind of gave you that multiplayer experience with the linkable cabinets. You haven't tried that yet. You just have one, right?
I just have one. I don't see myself getting a second, even if it was $199. I just, you know, I have to get rid of something or bring something in, and it's just, two of the same in a small room. I don't know if I could pull that off.
Yeah, you could see that space being used elsewhere on a different cabinet entirely, rather than giving your Fast and the Furious a better experience, having the
Yeah.
multiplayer experience. Okay, cool. And then now, have you upgraded the marquee yet on it? I know one of your complaints were the marquee.
I'm waiting for Joe Sabos to design the new marquee, but once he does, I'm gonna get it and we'll get a review done on it. We'll see how it looks. I did see the actual Fast and Furious. There was two of them at the arcade I went to today, and that, just looking at that cabinet right now, the only thing that's different is you're missing Vin Diesel and Paul Walker on that top above the Fast and Furious on the side, which everybody knows. But if you look on that marquee is pretty close to the original. You actually see them in that car.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
If you look up close, okay.
The only people you'll see in any car on this cabinet is right there on top of that marquee. But
Interesting. Okay.
they did a good job on the artwork. It's pretty arcade authentic.
Now we got that one update right after it released, which kind of fixed the problems with some issues it was having right out the box. Has it had any reviews since then, or any updates since then? I'm sorry.
No, not that I've seen. Now it's been about 2 weeks since I turned it on, but it's playing really good. After that update, I mean, it's like I actually thought, like, is there something wrong with this arcade? And a lot of people, like you just said, did a lot of reviews before that update and made it look pretty bad.
Now I heard some people saying that, like, no matter what they do, they get the same place every time. Have you had anything like that, or any experience like that?
Well, yeah, I finished third a lot. I can see that, but then I see Toxin is like number 3 on the leaderboard. Like, I mean, there is a way to finish first. The thing is just hitting that nitro at the right time.
So you can be good at this game. You just have to know what you're doing.
Yeah, for a while, Tech Buzz was up there, and Toxin's been up there. I mean, you see a lot of people you'd recognize on the leaderboard.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, so this is another cabinet I'm interested in as well. These are all cabinets that I like. Now it'll get down to when we start getting down to the price that I'm looking for, which ones am I going to pick, because obviously I have to sell cabinets to get new cabinets in. And I also have to be selective. I don't want to just get in anything just because the price is good. So we'll see what I end up with. But I'm interested in all these cabinets pretty much. The only one I said that I wasn't interested in was T2. And that's only because we have Time Crisis coming very soon, and it only has one game. And but all these others could be in my game room here very soon, based on the price and what happens with that.
Are there any other rooms that you could put any arcades in? Do you have like a spare room that you're considering?
Not really. I've got my Final Fight up in my bedroom right now, and don't really like that. I don't like having cabinets in my bedroom. I want to keep it limited to, like the living room or my studio area where I'm at right now. So I really don't have room. And I mean, I do technically, but do I want to put it there? Not really. So that is a fallback. Like if I see like an incredible deal and I just don't want to get rid of a cabinet quite yet, I could do that if I wanted to. But it would really have to impress me.
Yeah.
Now, the next thing I want to get into is I want to get into the Casino-cade, because we know that the Casino-cade, and we don't know for a fact. We don't have any confirmed information on this. This is just my predictions, and what I've been going with is we're going to be seeing this cabinet here in the next few weeks. So next 2 to 3 weeks likely we'll see Casino-cade. And the reason I say that is for 2 reasons. Number one, we already saw it here at CES. So we know it's finished pretty much. They just have to find the right retailer or whoever that wants to buy it and, sell these things for them. But also I had saw this short here. This was 3 weeks ago. And this was at a Best Buy event called Best Buy Achievers. And they brought all their Best Buy cabinets to this event. However, one cabinet that was in this trailer that we hadn't seen yet was Casino-cade. So this leads me to believe we're very, very close to seeing this one. And I think we've even seen from some major content creators in Arcade1up home arcade, also mentioned this cabinet's next. What is your theory, and what are your thoughts on Casinocade and what we're going to see?
Well, now that you're showing this, I completely believe you that this will probably be the next arcade we see. I mean, everything we're seeing in this picture, I like the way it lights up. I mean, they're showing it so quick, and the screen does look small. I mean, it's comparable to like a countercade, but I don't know. I think this is going to appeal to a lot of different people, and I'm thinking about my parents right now. Like, this could be a good Christmas gift for them. And I bought them Attack from Mars pinball last year. It could be another something good to put next to it. What do you like about it?
I like the casino games. I'm a big poker player. I also play some slots when I go to the casinos. I like the video poker, and I think it's going to have a lot of that on it. So I am interested in that. It also is very different, right, than anything else Arcade1up has done. And they're trying to target a different audience, a different demographic, a buyer. And that's where they're really going to hit a home run with this one, because you've got like the retirement community. You've got all these casino goers who, live at the casino when they're retired. They're going to buy these things, and they're going to buy them like hotcakes. So I see this doing very well. And even here in our community, our home arcade community, I see a lot of us buying these just because they're so different than everything else we have in our game room. And people want different. When they bring people over, they want people to have a variety of different things. You don't want just all joystick, games. You want drivers, you want shooters. And now we've got, casino. So I think this is going to be a big hit. And I did hear recently they're trying to take the Casinocade out of the name completely. But we did see that leak from Bill's Retro Show where the FCC filing has already been filed for the Deluxe Casinocade. So they are sticking with the Casinocade name, it appears. But what about you? Are you going to get one?
I don't know, but I if the price is right. I mean, you and I talked about this before. I mean, I think $4.99 is probably what we're looking at here. And by the time they would drop a sale, it would probably be spring. Like this would be like a Christmas gift. I like the size of it. I don't know if I necessarily would get one for home, but I can see a lot of people that would be interested in this. Like you said, there's going to be a lot of different casino games on there.
Yeah. So you're interested in getting one for your parents. So you bought them the Attack from Mars. Do they ever play it?
Yeah, and I tell them, don't leave it on for too long.
Yeah, definitely don't leave it on. And you also need to mod it as well. If you haven't done that mod, you'll need to do that.
Yeah.
Now, one thing you could do is you could take the Attack from Mars back and buy them one of these. And then, that way you play the pinball. They play the casino games.
I could, but then you got that At Games, the ALP 4K coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of holding out for that one.
Yeah.
But no, it's a good pause right there. This looks good. And it's just something different. It's got the height. And you're right, it's got the two different screens on there.
Yeah, so what I was hoping was the letters under the main screen were going to change with the game. Those those do not change. Now the lights behind the letters move around, but the letters don't change. Also, I was hoping the wheel at the top spin.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. I was hoping the wheel was moving.
Yeah, it's fixed. It doesn't move. That's, I guess, your lit marquee is the wheel. But it looks like they're going with those same Deluxe speakers, so those should sound good. And then those are some smaller screens we're looking at. But, I mean, if we could get this at $4.99 with the gold trim and all that, I think that's a pretty good deal. And Wheel of Fortune's a big name. It's a recognizable name. So I think these are going to do really well.
I do too. And when you're looking at the 18-inch Infinity game board, that's $4.99. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think $4.99 is kind of Best Buy, unless it's a racing game or Star Wars. I think that's your standard now going forward, is a $4.99
Mm-hmm.
up to a $5.99.
Now, this is a Deluxe as well, so this is going to be Best Buy exclusive, I think. I don't have a confirmed fact on that. That's just my thoughts. But I think this is also going to be a Best Buy exclusive. And how they unveiled these Best Buy exclusives is they do these Arcade1up, not the one update, but the one up show. And they'll kind of do like a video, and then they'll bring in some people from Arcade1up to kind of talk about it a little bit. So hopefully we'll get one of those one up shows where they unveil this here in the next couple weeks. That's my thought.
That could very well be their next show.
Mm-hmm.
Good call.
Very close on this one. And I'm ready to cover it. I'm ready to get into it and find out what this thing's all about and share that with everyone out there in the Arcade1up community. Now, the next thing that I wanted to discuss, and this will probably be our final subject on Arcade1up tonight, is Big Buck Pro. So this is the Big Buck Hunter Pro Arcade Deluxe Edition. So the reason we know this is coming is Randy's Records has leaked this. They're I believe, a record shop out of Oregon, I believe, and he sells these things. And I guess when he finds out from Arcade1up that he's going to get some new cabinets, he instantly puts it on the website even before it's available. And he's done this in the past on many different cabinets. The only one that he showed that we haven't seen, I think, is Time Crisis. So we know that one's coming. So he's a very reliable source. And I think this is going to be our next one. So after Casinocade. So we heard Arcade1up is going to release a new cabinet every month, month and a half until the end of the year. So I'm going to say every 6 weeks till the end of the year, we're going to get a new cabinet release. So I think we're getting Casinocade here at the end of June, but beginning of July. And then in September, October, we're going to get Big Buck Hunter Pro Deluxe. What do you think about this cabinet, or what you've heard about it so far?
Well, it's got to be a lot better than the standard, right? That screen just seemed a little too low from what I've seen on the Big Buck Hunter. This will be higher up, and will the marquee light up on this one? I mean, these are huge things. I'm not so much into the Big Buck. I actually passed that up at the arcade today, but you look at people who have like a finished basement, have a bar area down there, a game room. You have the Golden Tee, you got NBA Jam, and you put Big Buck Hunter right next to it. And heck, you put that Wheel of Fortune Casinocade on there. It's gonna look pretty good down there. That's a good variety.
Yeah, a lot of different variety. Also, we know that actively Arcade1up is working with Raw Thrills on Fast and the Furious. So it's easy to make their next cabinet another Raw Thrills cabinet because they're actively working with them and they can just move on to the next one. So this makes a lot of sense for them to go right into Big Buck because they've got the relationship. They've already done this cabinet before. Should be a pretty simple release. They just have to improve on some things from the previous one we saw. You mentioned it. It has to have a marquee, a lit marquee this time. That's kind of like a requirement now, wouldn't you say, for any future cabinets?
Definitely. I mean, Look, I understand everyone who purchased the Retro Mania Wrestling cabinet without a lit up marquee. I mean, it's huge. You want to have a marquee that lights up. I think there's ways around fixing that. We saw Michael V do a review where he put a really nice light up marquee on his. But these, from here on out, everything should be a lit up marquee.
Yeah, so I think we're getting that for sure. I think you're right. You hit the head on the right then on that point with the lit marquee. Now, some other things that we're obviously going to see are coin door. We didn't get a coin door on the original Big Buck, and then they re-released it again, and we didn't get a coin door again. I think we definitely will on this one. Also, no riser, because this is a deluxe cabinet. It should be a riserless design, one solid piece. But one thing I thought or a cabinet that could really benefit from an XL design or a Pro design would be the Big Buck Hunter. And it doesn't look like we're getting a Pro Series or an XL. It's still going to be that 3/4 scale design. But something they really have to hit on is they have to make it much taller. So one of the biggest complaints with Big Buck Hunter was how short it was. For a tall person like me, there's just no way I could play it. Have you ever seen one of these up close in person?
I haven't. And when you were just talking, I was thinking about you could put the riser booster underneath here versus something like Fast and Furious would be a lot harder. But
Mm-hmm.
for a cabinet like this, it's doable to raise that up if it was still low.
Mm-hmm.
Just
and this
an
one
idea.
I think will probably be $599. I don't think this will be the $499 with this one. That's my guess. Yeah, since it is the light gun game, you're probably looking at the full 600, especially if we're getting a lit marquee. And I just don't see people wanting to go out and spend more money on a booster. They just need to get it right the first time. Arcade1up, just right out of the box, make it right, make it a tall design, something that people are going to want and not have to modify.
Well, the thing is with Fast and Furious, the screen is actually higher than where Star Wars and Ridge Racer is. So
Fast and the Furious is.
Yes. So you look at a cabinet like T2, which probably has the highest monitor. This is just under that one. So there's no doubt that this will be higher up than the original Big Buck Hunter. It's just, are they making these tall enough for everybody? This is the year of the Deluxe. Next year will probably be, the year for XLs. So like everything will just be that much bigger.
Mm-hmm. And that brings up a point on the XLs is we don't have a confirmed date or a time when the XLs are going to release or when we're going to get our next XL. I did ask the question, are they still a thing? And they said, yes, XLs are still a thing, but it didn't sound like they have anything ready. There's no like confirmed XL coming anytime soon. It doesn't sound like. So I don't think we're getting it. Well, obviously we can tell by the listing, this isn't going to be a XL. Maybe Time Crisis is. I don't think it will be, but maybe it is. But we'll have to wait and see. What cabinet do you think would benefit the most from an XL design?
I would say for right now, I would say Time Crisis, because if you look at that $799 price, like the GameFly leak, how accurate is that price wise? That might have gave it away that maybe it is an XL.
Yeah, that would be a good one, especially if it's a 2-player game. You're going to be standing next to each other, get a wider design. And also my thought, we have Robotron 2084 and Smash TV coming, probably next year, it sounds like. That one would also have to be an XL, I think, because you're going to have the twin stick shooter. You're going to have 4 sticks, 2 people playing. You're definitely going to need that extra width and that bigger cabinet design.
Yeah, that would be a really cool cabinet. And you put, what's that third one?
Total Carnage.
Total Carnage on there, yes. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, if we could get Total Carnage, that would be huge. Now, Thor, he had a good comment here. He says, there should make a Big Buck Hunter XL actually have a huge screen. A 42-inch monitors are cheap these days and would make a shooting cab actually worth more than $500. That's a really good point. That's one of the biggest problems with Big Buck Hunter and that 17-inch screen is just how small it is. And then you get that white border around it as well, and it just makes it look even smaller. And some games you can play that way, but for whatever Big Buck Hunter, it just seems like it plays best on the biggest screen possible. So XL would be Big Buck would be a great XL cabinet with at least a 19-inch screen.
Yeah, the 19-inch makes a huge difference. I mean, just look at your iiRcade compared to any of your Arcade1ups. Or if you had Golden Tee or the Shack Jam. I mean, that bigger of a screen, I mean, it's huge.
Now, you played gun games. You played T2 on the 17-inch screen because you have that cabinet. And then you've played Operation Wolf on the iiRcade with the 19-inch screen. So, what's the difference between the two, you think?
I didn't notice any difference. And this goes back, I don't want to copy everything that P-Dub says, but when he did a review on a countercade, when you're staring at that, I mean, that's your range of vision here. You just don't see it. That becomes everything you're looking at. So the 17 to 19 on the shooter, I didn't notice a lot. You still have the white bar around, the white frame around Operation Wolf along with T2. I mean, it is bigger, but when you're playing, you're so involved in that you're not looking at the size. You're so into the game.
Okay. So that 2-inch screen isn't going to make I mean, it does help, but it's not going to be a huge difference, is what you've noticed.
Right. I mean, you go to an actual arcade. It's what is it? A 27-inch, monitor that's in there. I mean,
Maybe
you're gonna,
bigger.
yeah. I mean, that. If you want to compare the size, like that's big.
Yeah. So the big buck I saw today at the arcade was like a 42-inch monitor. So with a pedestal under it, and I think that's the way most of them are nowadays. Would Arcade1up ever make a pedestal you could just plug into the TV?
Like a plug and play. Yeah.
Yeah, like a plug and play. You just put the pedestal under your TV and plug it in. There's all kinds of things they could do. Different, ways they could make cabinets in the future.
They've done that projection for the Pac-Man. I mean, you never know. They might try something like that.
Yep. Another thing I think too that we would like to see is they got the pedestal. Now candy cabs are a big thing, right? So you got these Deluxe candy cabs. If you watch P-Dub's video this week, he bought one. He got it for $1,000, but these things normally go for like $3,000. A lot of the fighting games like Street Fighter, Tekken, these competitive fighting games are really played best on these candy cabs where you're sitting down and you have this big screen in front of you. You have really good sound. And I asked John D, I actually sent him a message this week. I was like, hey, these Deluxe cabs are really starting to become more popular. I'm seeing more and more people into them. And, with Street Fighter 6 this week, what's Arcade1up's plans in the candy cab? Are you guys even discussing this? Is this a possibility? He actually responded to me. He said they are looking into it, and this is something that they've actively been talking about. So 2024 may be the year we see our first candy cab. Who knows? But it is something I can confirm for sure they are discussing and they are considering.
That'd be cool.
Have you seen these candy cabs yet?
I'm sorry?
Have you seen the candy cabs yet and what they look like?
No, I was looking for one today. I have not played any. Maybe we'll
bring one up here so you can see what it looks like. It's called a Deluxe. And let me just get an image here pulled up for us. I wasn't prepared for this. I just kind of random conversation that came up as we started talking. So let's bring this up here. There we go. So that's it right there.
Man, that's Dubs, isn't it?
Yeah. Now this isn't his review. I don't think it may be an image from his review. I just Googled Deluxe and this is the first image that came up for me. But basically it's just like a sit down cabinet. It's all made of metal. It's got like coin doors under the bottom. It's got 4 speakers, 2 up above the screen, 2 below the screen. And they have the 6 button, they have the 7 button, and now they're making the 8 button layout. And you can pretty much put whatever you want inside it. You can put a Pandora's box, you can put a PC, or you can get the actual Taito arcade boards and put those in there. But this is something going into next year in 2024 that I'm going to be more and more interested in. And I think more and more people are going to start following these. Because they're really kind of new to the United States. They started more overseas in Japan, but they're starting to come over here, and more people are getting them. And just something that's on my radar, something I want to continue to follow, and hopefully Arcade1up makes one.
Yeah, that screen is huge.
Yeah, it's got a big wide screen, and like I saw in P-Dub's video, his is a 60 hertz, but you can get 120 hertz screens where it's just crystal clear. It looks fantastic. And something I really want to play is one of these Deluxe cabs. So next, I want to get into iiRcade. And let's bring iiRcade up here. You guys are probably seeing down the tunnel there because I had my OBS open. But I got this slide up here for Space Invaders, iiRcade Gold. This is the cabinet that you purchased yourself. What do you think about the gold cabinet, in particular the Space Invaders gold cabinet?
I think that the gold cabinet is a pro cabinet. If you're talking Killer Instinct Pro, this is comparable with that. the closest thing to a pro cabinet that I'll have here. The speakers are great, and I believe it's the same speakers that you have, along with the same 19-inch monitor. I love the cabinet, and I love that blue on there. I actually saw Bill's retro game. That cabinet was behind him. I was deciding between this and Double Dragon. Double Dragon sold out, but I bought this, and it was back, I think the beginning of November is when I placed the order for this. And Double Dragon was already sold out at that point. Went with Space Invaders over Dead Cells and Dragon's Lair, and I love it. There's nothing you have to do to this. I mean, if you want to change out the buttons and sticks, you want to change the colors to match the blue and the yellow. Other than that, I'm loving this iiRcade, and I'm loving the sales going on with it. And we can add all these games right now. They extended the sale another week, and we don't have to get rid of an arcade to bring in all these games. We just keep downloading it right to the system.
Yeah, so you had chosen the Space Invaders design, and you were very interested in the Double Dragon as well. But in the end, you're satisfied with Space Invaders. You feel like you went with the right choice on that?
Yeah, and it's like what you said earlier about Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man. I think every arcade needs some of these nostalgia, old titles, to go with the newer stuff. And this looks great in an arcade. I mean, it just resembles, as close to an actual Space Invaders arcade you're going to get. Yeah, there's no coin door on it, but Double Dragon was just so much of my childhood. I mean, we all played Double Dragon on Nintendo that, I probably would have went with that if it was still in stock, but I'm happy with Space Invaders. Dragon's Lair looked good too. Yeah, I thought about it for a while.
Yeah, the Space Invaders I think is my favorite as well. It's one of the most recognizable names. And when you're building your arcade, you want that nostalgia, that feeling. And Space Invaders gives you that because it's one of those old school arcade games that everyone recognizes, everyone knows. And I like the big blue marquee. I think the marquee looks really good on this one. That blue really stands out. And that game deck too, it looks really good with those colors.
And it's so high up. And I'm sure yours is the same level. It's close to 40 inches. Where that Killer Instinct control panel is. It's very comfortable to play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a very, very high game deck. I think it may actually be just a little under Killer Instinct's height, but I'm very happy with the game deck and the height of that. Obviously, you have the USB ports on the front, so you can play your gun games where I can't. You had mentioned the speakers being the same. I think you're getting upgraded speakers with the gold. You got the JBL, where mine I don't think has those speakers, so you do have better ones. And then, of course, you have the marquee above you, which gives you that feeling of playing a real arcade. Like when I'm sitting in front of my iiRcade, I'm always looking up, and all I'm seeing are those speakers. And I just wish there was a marquee right there. You know what I'm feeling and what I'm saying?
I do, but there's ways around that. And there was a comment going on in one of the videos about, I get it, but it doesn't have a light up marquee. I mean, there's so many third-party sellers, and there's something we could put on there. I mean, look at those light boxes you got from Walmart, the Street Fighter 2, the Pac-Man. I mean, there's something you could put there.
I was looking. There is a place out there that does make marquees for the version I have that goes right on top. And it doesn't look perfect, but it looks good. I'm tempted to buy one. They're like $80 to $100. And then you can buy some tape to put on the edges to make the tape color even match the trim on mine. So I may do it, but they're pretty cool looking. And he can even do customizations, and he can pretty much put whatever image you want in those marquees.
Yeah, that will look good.
But having it built into the cabinet in the gold, I think, is the way to go. I wish they would have made more of these. I wish they were more readily available. Like for me, I probably wouldn't have bought one until I saw one at Best Buy, because you're spending $800. That's a lot of money, to go out on a limb and spend $800 and then have to work over the phone with iiRcade if you have problems. Where if I spend that money at Best Buy, I can just take it back up to Best Buy and return it or exchange it. Very easy. And that's what held me back from getting a gold, was that they weren't available at retailers.
Well, but after 6 months, anything we get, it's not going to be covered regardless, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just people are worried, like the future of iArcade, which none of us really know. We're all speculating. I'm trying to keep it as positive as I can because I want to see more stuff from them. But I think you're going to get a quality product, and it's not something to worry about. Like if it, anything in life can break down. It's just if you want to pick up, cheap games, a cabinet on sale, what's to stop you from getting an iArcade?
Yeah. Now, right now, what's stopping us is there's none available, right? You had
As,
found out that even Best Buy is sold out of iArcade
as
right
of
now.
yesterday, I pulled it up on one of my videos and I said, "Holy cow! I'm just finding out about this now." And I wonder if there was some late price matching going on with Best Buy because $5.99. The only thing available is on Amazon for a bar top for the OG iArcade for $5.99 right now.
And now, who is that through? Is that through like an individual seller where he's selling just one, or do they have a bunch available? It's through like a retailer.
I think it's Amazon. Those Amazon Choice banners you see when you go on there.
Okay, is it refurbished or is it brand new?
I think it's brand new.
Oh wow! So we can still get iArcades, but we can only get them through Amazon. Sold out on the website. Sold out at Best Buy.
But the bar top, not the stand, just the bar top.
Just the bar top. But I think you could probably find a stand out there, possibly.
Yeah.
So if you're out there and you're looking for an iArcade and you missed out, for $5.99 you can get the OG on Amazon. So I guess that's our last chance.
See some Surface. We see this all the time. I just saw an NBA Jam on Wayfair. Like, where did they come up with this? Where did that come from?
Yeah.
There'll be a couple that come up, but and what's to say they're not going to give us another cabinet in fall? We have no idea what's going on right now.
It's radio silence right now from iArcade, so we don't know anything that's going on.
They don't have to tell us anything, just like Arcade1up doesn't have to tell us anything. We can just sit here and guess on what we think is going to happen. But they're just clearing out an office space, and you're seeing on their merch on their website that they're still selling shirts and hats, but when that size runs out, they're not restocking that. So the only thing is the merch and the protective glass for the screen.
Okay, and that's all they have available, which they're shipping out of they're still shipping out right now, even though they're moving. So you can still buy this stuff. And next I wanted to get in to kind of finish the show, and this would kind of be like the last subject we discussed tonight, is going to be iArcade games. So we've got this iArcade store, and I pulled up this little clip here, which just kind of shows everything that's on sale right now. So we've got like 100 or 150 games all on sale right now. And they're mostly 25% off. Some are 50% off. Have you bought any games since the sale started?
Yes, I bought a couple. Last night, I bought Shadow Dancer. So I'm trying to buy up as many of the Sega as I can. There's a part of me that's still bummed out that I missed out on the Golden Axe sale at GameStop. So my ploy is just to buy up Sega from iArcade until that Golden Axe drops. I love Sega, and to have as many Sega games is the better for me, I guess. But I promised Carlo I was going to get Major Title 2. So even when if the sale runs out June 16th, I'll still buy up games. I'm committed for the next month. Buy up as many iArcade games as I can and not get a full-size cabinet.
So you're going to get some Sega games to kind of hold you over until you can get your Golden Axe. You had promised Major Title 2 to Carl?
Yeah, I heard you two played each other online.
No, I've not played it online yet. I've seen Steps Gaming play it online. I've seen Brooklyn play it online. It looks like they have a really good time with it. I have played it on my At Games Legends Ultimate, and I must say it is a very good game. It is a lot of fun. So I may buy it. I may just need someone to push me to get it, like someone's pushing you to get it. But
it's hard to say no to Carl.
Yeah, right. I did get a Mayhem Brawler, though, and I'm very impressed with it. And it was 50% off for Mayhem Brawler. So, I went for it. 50% off is a pretty good deal. and then you go to Steam, you go to Switch, and it's full price there. So I knew I wasn't getting screwed on that.
Everyone says it plays the best for the iArcade. I mean, I bought it, refunded, bought it again. I kept it. So I have Mayhem Brawler also.
Steps Gaming just said it's less than $10. So I got to get Major Title 2. It's only $10. When you put it that way, it's only $10. That's like a lunch. And I can play online games with my friends.
There's games I want to get. Riptide Renegade. Probably Kung Fu Master I'll get. But I'm just wondering why, like, Brock the Investigator was on sale for like 8 hours that first day, and then they bumped it back to full price. You and I talked about that. You're like, Phil, check this one out. It's a good beat 'em up. It's similar to Mayhem Brawler.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you get Moon Patrol?
No, I didn't get Moon Patrol. I saw the arcade today too, and I didn't play that.
I played it on my At Games Legends Ultimate. I really like Moon Patrol. That may be another one I got to get here before the sale's over. But you got this one, Ninja Spirit.
You get it? Would you spend $5 on Ninja Clowns?
Ninja Clowns? No. I know that's one of P-Dub's favorites, but I don't think I'm going to get that one. Up. You're going to get it?
Yeah, what the heck.
And so you got Ninja Spirit. Do you like it?
No, I didn't pick that one up.
Oh, you got which one? Shadow Dancer. Okay, that's right.
Alien Storm, Shadow Dancer. There's another Sega title.
I'm getting those confused. Ninja Spirit is Irem's version of Shinobi. So
I bought that SWAT game. It's a 2-player. It's like your futuristic cops. That was a Sega title. I got that a couple of days ago. eSWAT.
Okay. So yeah, those are I guess of all the games that are on sale right now, I'm probably going to look at Moon Patrol. Probably going to look at Major Title 2. I keep seeing this Saint Dragon on the Friday night arcade show. It's like almost every week we see that game. There's just so many good games on the arcade.
Brooklyn Menace told me, he goes, this was a couple of weeks ago, maybe even longer. He goes, get Shadow Dancer, you'll like it. I mean, it's a good one, but it's one hit, you're dead. It's similar to that Namco game on Pac-Man. I can't think. Rolling Thunder. Similar to Rolling Thunder.
I like Rolling Thunder a lot too, and I've been playing Rolling Thunder 2 on my At Games, and I even like Rolling Thunder 2 even more. But those are great games. Combat Tribes. This is another good one. Do you have it?
I have that on my Hilo hack. So unfortunately, the games on the Hilo hack take away from me purchasing some of those for iArcade. Now, do they play better on iArcade? I can't answer that.
Well, my experience, they do play better on iArcade. Because what I do is I play them on my At Games Legends Ultimate first to make sure I like it. Once I've confirmed I like the game and I want it, I get it on the iArcade, and it does play better on the iArcade. And that's because Michael and these other developers, they go in and they make sure they fine-tune everything for the iArcade system, where when I'm playing it on my At Games, these are just downloaded ROMs. These things, some of them work, some of them don't. And they're, nothing's been changed on those ROMs to make them run better. That's the actual arcade ROM. Where we're on iArcade, we're playing a modified version of that ROM that's meant to play on the iArcade. So it's definitely worth the money to get these games. They're going to play better, and they say you're going to have them forever. So even if the company goes under, we're still going to have these games. What do you think? Do you think there's any possibility we could lose these if they go out of business?
Well, it's on our hard drive, right? I mean, how are they going to be able to take that away? We'll lose. You and I won't be able to play Warrior Blade online again. I mean, we'll lose that. Mm-hmm. But, anything we buy. I mean, I was afraid we'd lose Double Dragon. I went on there. It's still on my system. I don't think they're gonna take any games away from us. If you downloaded something on your Xbox, would they take that game away? Like, it's there, right?
Yeah, we paid for it, so we should be able to keep it no matter what. We just lose the leaderboards. We lose the online. One other game I wanted to mention here that I want to get. So I wanted to kind of talk about games that are not on sale that we would like to see on sale here in the future. One for me is Retromania Wrestling, because I have the Retromania arcade cabinet, but I bought it used, and the previous owner kept the game. Of course, they want to keep the game. It's in their name. So I have a Retromania cabinet, but I don't have the game. So I got to have that to go together. It's $30. I think that's outrageous for this game. But if I could get it at 15, maybe 20, I would buy it. What are some games out there that you're interested in getting that aren't on sale?
Riptide Renegade #1.
Riptide Renegade, yeah, that's another one I'd like to get as well. That's actually Michael B's favorite iArcade game is Riptide Renegade.
That's ranked #2. What's the game that's ranked #1 for iArcade?
Retromania.
Really? Oh, there it is. Yeah.
And I think that's just because everyone owns the game, because most of the people have the Retromania cabinet. I don't think that's because it's the #1 game. But yeah, so that one, Retromania, Riptide Renegade, and I'm trying to think. Oh, and then you said Brock's the Investigator. Those are all ones that you would like to see all on sale here soon.
Yeah. Did you buy Bad Dudes versus Dragon Ninja?
Bad Dudes, no, I have it on my ALU, and I have it on my Retro Pi right here.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it is a fun game. But there is something to be said about the leaderboards and being able to be competitive with your friends and see their name and your name right next to them. So maybe even like a game like Bad Dudes, if I see the right price, I may buy even that and have a third copy of that same game just for the leaderboards.
I want to recommend Night Slashers to you. That's a good one too.
Night Slashers, yeah, I played that on the ALU. It is a lot of fun fighting through those zombies. You're like me. You like the beat 'em up games. I'm big on beat 'em ups.
You mentally check out. I mean, you're just like hit and continue the whole time. There's no strategy here.
Yeah, you're just having a good time and you're following the story of the game and you're getting to the end boss, seeing the ending, and that's what it's about.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess that'll do it, PD7. I really appreciate you coming on the show tonight. It's been a really good time, catching up with you and asking these questions, and everyone that's joined us. Sorry I didn't get to everyone tonight, and normally I'll try to read everyone's comments or as many as I can, but since we had a guest on the show, I wanted to make sure we had attention on PD7 so we could learn more about him. Is there anything you want to tell anyone, like if there's anyone watching that has not seen your channel or come across any of your videos, do you want to tell them about what you have coming up here in the near future?
What I have coming up for the next month is covering as many sales in any of the home arcades we can. This is the time of year where we get the Black Friday in July, and there's a good time to buy. They kind of showed us some good stuff, these 24-hour sales. There's a lot more to come, and it's exciting because I always say when something comes down, be ready for a new release, and maybe that Casino-cade is closer than we think, but I think it's safe to pick up some of the cabinets on sale right now and not like worrying about, well, if a new release comes out, I'm like tempted to buy. Also, the iArcade games, you have until June 16th, unless they keep extending the sale, to pick up these games 25% off. And just look for more walk-in talks. Try to get a couple out a week. Just covering as much as we can. And let's get Big ED to 1,000 subs. I know you're close.
Yes, very close. When I started, I was at 912, so I'm so close. I can taste it now. I just need these 80 or 88 more subscribers to join the channel and subscribe, and I'll get there to 1,000. I notice your channel's really growing too. You're almost at 800, and I think I was at like 400 or 500 when you started your channel. So you're catching up on me, and you probably may even pass me and get to 1,000 before I do. Who knows? But we're both right there. And if anyone's watching and you guys have enjoyed the live stream or you're enjoying our videos, definitely subscribe so we can get to 1,000. One thing I like to do is I like to do these live streams every Sunday, but I want to start having more and more guests on the show. And I'm using a free version of Restream tonight for this. So that's why you see the logo in the upper right. And it's about $20 a month for the cost of Restream. But, once I get monetized, I can justify, purchasing this, and I can bring on more guests, and we can have more eventful and more fun shows with more people on. So definitely look forward to that and getting, monetized so I can put that back into the channel. I'm sure that's what you're looking forward to as well. PD7 is getting your channel monetized so you can grow it and improve it. Better cameras, better microphones, whatever it takes to make sure our viewers are having a great experience. And that's what I'm about. So really enjoyed it. And I hope you guys have a good rest of the Sunday evening, a good start to next week. And I'll see everyone in the next one. Bye-bye.